What's up, YouTube? Mike back in the saddle again with another reaction video. So I'm finding it very difficult to get off of the February the 8th hearings in the Oversight Committee because every time I go through it, I'm just finding additional gems that are worthy of comment. So today we start with Daniel Goldman, congressman from New York. You may remember him as the prosecuting attorney from one of the Trump impeachment hearings. Let's hear what he has to say.
Goldman.
Thank you, Mr. Gomez. Let's talk about the so-called Twitter files, which my Republican colleagues seem to think are God's gift to journalism. In one about the Hunter Biden laptop, the author says that every single fact in the New York Post story was accurate. And Chairman Comer, I notice you blew up the cover of that New York Post story, which I appreciate you doing that because I'd like to dig into this article. The very first paragraph says Hunter Biden introduced his father to a top executive at a Ukrainian energy firm less than a year before the elder Biden pressured government officials in Ukraine into firing a prosecutor who was investigating the company. That is false. 100% false.
Is the gentleman sure about that?
Yes, in fact, I am sure about that. And as the lead counsel in the first impeachment investigation, we proved that he was actually fired because he was not prosecuting corruption, not that he was fired because he was prosecuting corruption.
Corruption of the president's son's company. I'm sorry, would the gentleman yield corruption of the president's son's company?
I'd like to reclaim my time.
Okay, so much there that's so much fun. So first and foremost, who proved that? You proved that? The investigators proved that? Serial leaker, liar, and general creep Adam Schiff, who had to create a whole conversation that never actually occurred between Trump and Zelensky in order to further the case for impeachment. I don't trust or believe anything you folks have proven because you're all just a bunch of liars. That has been proven time and time again. Now, with that being said, let's not listen to Mr. Goldman anymore. I got what I wanted from him, so we're going to move on. But before I do that, one other thing I wanted to note, now that I think about it, James Comer, what an absolute pleasure he's going to be heading up this oversight committee. Notice what happened there. How quickly, once he interjected, Goldman wanted to reclaim his time and got quite angry. I can tell you what's going on there, at least in my opinion. They are not enjoying the fact that for a while there, they were in control of everything. So they were able to just spew their lies without any pushback. Now they're getting pushback and they just can't lie incessantly and not be called out for it. That's not a comfortable position for them. They're used to being able to just lie and lie and lie and have it stand out there like it's the truth and nobody fighting back. Those days are over. Now, with that being said, we're going to move on to Melanie Stansbury, who, well, she's a congresswoman from New Mexico, total backbencher. I had to look it up myself. That's why I know that, because I had no idea who she was either. But let's hear what she has to say.
And I want to just start this afternoon by thanking our panelists who have been sitting here all afternoon and many of the members of the public who are with us. I see a lot of tired faces out there, and I want to thank you all for spending your day with us. But I also want to start out by asking, what are we doing here in this committee today?
I think we're all asking ourselves, what are you doing here in this committee today? But I'll let her continue.
Why are we here? Why is this committee devoting a day-long hearing to a political conspiracy theory?
Okay, so here we are. So this hearing is all about the Hunter Biden laptop and the conspiracy theory, which isn't a conspiracy theory. A lot of that has been proven to be true at this point. We're going to learn a whole lot more about it going forward. We're here because of the suppression of free speech, because of collusion between the government and social media companies to suppress information and a story that was coming out that may have influenced an election, one that could have been proven at the time or determined to be true by none other than James Baker, former FBI counsel, who happened to work at Twitter at the time. But let's let her continue because there's a bit more I want to get to.
That was planted in the media by Rudy Giuliani to support Donald Trump's reelection campaign. Of all the topics we could be focused on in this committee to support the American people, how people are going to put food on their table at the end of the day, how we're going to address the economy, how we're going to address critical issues that are on people's minds every day, we are devoting an entire day to this conspiracy theory involving Twitter. Now,
okay, so it's all about the Hunter Biden laptop. Has nothing to do with the collusion between social media giants and the federal government by way of the FBI and other intelligence agencies. Yeah, okay. That's what it's about. It's about free speech and the suppressing of dissenting views, not what you're seeming to think it's about or wanting to claim it's about, although you know the truth. Well, let's let her continue a bit further.
The mission of this committee is to root out waste, fraud, and abuse and to conduct oversight on behalf of the American people. And if you need any evidence of waste, fraud, and abuse, how about the use of this committee's precious time, space, and resources to commit to this hearing? You know, I don't even understand why we're here right now, but I do want to clarify some key facts about what we've heard today. So I'm going to get into it for just a few moments. Ms. Gaddy, thank you for being here today. Mr. Baker, you have already stated publicly that Twitter's handling of this issue was a mistake. Is that correct? Yes or no is fine.
Yes, that's correct.
I don't think I have stated that publicly yet, but that is what the CEO of the company said.
Yes, and at the time, only weeks before, one of the most consequential elections of our lifetime in 2020, Twitter made a decision based on policies put into place to protect the public from political disinformation.
Okay, so a couple things there. One, oh, it's okay now that they said it was a mistake and they shouldn't have done it. This has become a common theme in the last few years where the media will put out a false story and then they will, which will be on the front page, by the way, and then they retract it and it finds its way to the back page that nobody ever sees. Same thing here. Oh, well, you guys said that you realized that it was wrong, so, you know, all is forgiven. No, they knew what they were doing at the time and they did it anyway. We need to get to the bottom of exactly what happened here, who was involved, and ensure that we prevent it from ever happening again. The other thing to note is she used the word disinformation. It's important to understand the difference between misinformation and disinformation. Let's start with disinformation, which she's claiming that it was. Disinformation is information that's provided with the intent to deceive. So false information trying to mislead somebody. Whereas misinformation is just when somebody gets the facts wrong. In this case, it was neither of those things. It was entirely factual, yet they suppressed it anyway. Moreover, they would have been able to determine if it was factual or not quite easily without a lot of effort. Now, when we're talking about misinformation, there is one other thing to bring up. Remember who they wanted to control misinformation, or the Ministry of Truth, as it was called, if you guys remember this lady.
Is really quite ferocious. It's when a huckster takes some lies and makes them sound precocious by saying them in Congress or a mainstream outlet. So disinformation's origins are slightly less atrocious. It's how you hide a little lie. It's how you hide a little lie.
I'm not going to make you guys listen to that anymore because I know you're cringing right now. Is this who you would want controlling what information you're allowed to consume and not, and determining what's true and not? This lady's an absolute lunatic. This person should not be in charge of anything, let alone determining what's true and false. And let's move on to one other person to make a point. You all know and love this guy, so let's let him go.
Was pushback against me. So if you are trying to, get at me as a public health official and a scientist, you're really attacking not only Dr. Anthony Fauci, you're attacking science. And anybody
Dr.
that
Fauci, science embodied. Any true scientist is open to be proven wrong once new data and information emerges. If this weren't true, then let's see. The Earth would be flat, it would be the center of the universe, and we'd still be smoking cigarettes in emergency rooms and on airplanes. Over time, science changes, and people are open to that change and open to new ideas and thoughts. We know, of course, that he's not. Uh, do we suppress information and dissenting views based on who's in charge? That's a dangerous road to go down, and I personally want no part of that, and you shouldn't either. Um, so, with that being said, hopefully you guys see everything I kind of tied together here. If you like the content, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And with that, I yield my time.